So you've been hearing about Formula One.
It's on the attack! Can Verstappen hang on to it? They both go off the road!
Are you new to F1? Maybe you've been watching F1 but none of your friends do. Or you're trying to get your girlfriend to watch with you but she has no idea what's going on because all she sees are weird rocket potato cars. They have no idea what's going on the screen. It's confusing. What are these numbers? What are these plus decimal points? What is DRS?
And he's got the DRS.
DRS!
Why are they in the pits? Why are they changing their tires? Huh? Why are there different colored tires? They probably don't even know about that yet. Anyways, they don't want to sit through Drive to Survive either because there's like, what, 5, 6, 7 seasons at this point? That might be you. And you're just having a very hard time explaining to them what this sport is. Is it even a sport? It's just cars going around in a circle. Formula One is the top level of open wheel racing. These cars go over 200 miles per hour through streets and cities around the world, like Monaco, Miami, Monza, Singapore, Japan, Azerbaijan, Montreal, Silverstone. Each race is called a Grand Prix, and F1 is made out of 20-something races a year. Usually a race happens like every other week, and they gotta fly from one place to another. So what's the point of racing? Well, the point is actually to collect points. In every race, the top 10 finishers earn points. So first place gets 25 points. Second place gets 18 points. Third place gets 15 points. Fourth place gets 12. Fifth gets 10. Sixth gets 8. Show them on the screen. That's what they get. Okay? And there's no points after 10th place, so no soup for you. So whoever finishes at the end of all 20 races with the most points wins the Drivers' Championship. But hold up. There are 2 championships going on. Alright? You'll see all sorts of different colored cars on the grid, right? But some of them look like the other one, and that's because there are 10 teams. Alright? So those cars that are the same color are on the same team. Right now there are 10 teams, and in each team there are 2 drivers. And they work together to score points for the team as well. So at the end of the 20-something races over the year, you add both drivers' points up, and you get the Constructors' Championship. So there's 2 championships, the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship. So each race weekend takes place over 3 days. You got the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
It's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday. What? It's Friday then. Saturday, Sunday. What? Yeah, it's okay.
So on Friday, they got practice 1 and practice 2. You can totally skip these 2 sessions, by the way. They're basically filler episodes. Basically, the cars get on the track for the first time, and they just run their tests to see how the car's doing on the track, right? Because they're traveling all over the world, and they got to tune their car differently for each track. I'll go into details about that in a bit. It's too much right now. On Saturday, after Free Practice 3, which is also a filler episode, you got qualifying. And that's all 20 cars, compete to see who can put in the fastest time around the track, right? So the fastest person gets to start first, and the second fastest person starts second, and the third fastest person starts... Exactly. Qualifying happens in 3 knockout waves. So in the first wave, out of the 20 cars, the 5 slowest cars are eliminated. In the second wave, there are 15 cars, and the 5 slowest times there gets eliminated. And then for the third wave, the top 10 cars go at it. So whoever goes fastest starts first. Whoever's slowest, you suck. So on Sunday, it's the race. And obviously, whoever finished first wins. And look at that. We're here. It's Sunday morning, and it's your first time watching F1. Your boyfriend made you wake up at 5 a.m., the theme song is playing, and you see all of these attractive men posing like it's the opening of Big Brother. And now, all of a sudden, they're talking about different colored tires. What's that about? What's a soft, medium, hard? So each F1 race weekend, Pirelli, the only tire supplier in F1, provides 3 different types of dry weather tires, and they're called slicks. So the soft tires, the one with the red stripes, are the grippiest tires, which means they're the fastest. They stick to the ground the most. So if you make a really quick turn, it's really sticking itself to the track. But they also wear out the quickest. So they're most often used for qualifying. When you're watching qualifying, they're usually all on the red tires. Okay, sometimes they start on the yellow tires. We don't need to talk about that today. Let's keep it simple. Red tires are quick, but they only last, like for qualifying, if you're going full speed, they only last about 2 laps in a race, because in a race, you're not always going 100%. You gotta balance between the tires and speed, and we'll get to that in a bit. So the red tires don't last very long, maybe only about 8 to 10 laps during a race, and then you gotta pit. You gotta get new tires, and that's like 30-something seconds-ish in the pits. Now we got the medium tires, the one with the yellow stripes. They're a balance between performance and durability. And the medium tires last about 20 to 30 laps, all right? And the hard tires, the white stripe tires, they're the most durable. They last the longest, but they're a bit heavier. So they add a couple seconds to your lap time, but it's worth it in the long run, because remember, it takes 20 to 30 seconds to pit. Right? You know, it's kind of like a mental math game, and it all comes down to seconds and fractions of a second. So the hard tires last much longer, probably like 30 to 50 laps, maybe more, depending on how hard you're pushing the car. The harder you push your car, the faster these tires wear out. So it's a balance between how hard you push and how much you want to save on your tires. Then there are also wet tires. They're the green and blue ones. The green ones stand for intermediate, and they're for light rain and a damp track. Then the blue ones are called wet tires, so they're exclusively for heavy rain. These tires, they basically have deep grooves. They kind of look more like our regular road tires with the treads. And maybe that just seemed all really confusing, and you're like, why don't they just all start with the hard tires and they just go to the end of the race? So the rule in the current season is that you must use 2 different compounds during a dry race, which means they have to do a pit stop. F1 tires degrade much quicker than road tires. Like our road tires, you know, we could drive them for like 3, 4, or 5 years, all right? And we're fine. But these tires, you gotta change them in the middle of the race. And F1 tires degrade because of extreme heat and friction. So basically, as the tires heat up and rub against the track, and the hotter it gets, they start to melt and degrade. And when that happens, you start to lose grip. And when you lose grip, you start to lose lap time. And as the rubber degrades over time, braking also gets trickier, because now the tires are slipperier and less grippy. So now you see different drivers are starting on different tires. Some are yellow, some of them are starting on hards. And that all comes down to race strategy. So starting on softer tires, like the soft or medium tires, you get more grip off the line at the start of the race. And these tires are especially useful if you're trying to make up places early, or for simply passing cars. On the other hand, you have other cars playing the long game, starting on the hard tires, okay? It allows them to stay longer out without having to pit so early in the race. And these hard tire runners are usually drivers towards the back of the grid, trying to extend their first stint. Basically, they're trying to make up places as drivers in front of them pit before them. So now these drivers started in the back are now in front of these drivers. But technically, they still haven't pitted yet. So by the time they pit, they may end up behind, or they may end up in front. And that is called an overcut. And that brings us to the undercut. So the undercut is basically a strategy where you go into the pits before the cars in front of you, and you put on fresher tires, right? So now when you get out of the pits, you're able to put in faster lap times. And with this strategy, you're hoping that while you're using fresh tires doing a quick lap, and they're using old tires doing a slower lap, that by the time your opponent pits, they come out behind you and you have leapfrogged in front of them. You're faster than them because you have fresher tires. So strategy isn't always about speed. It's also about timing and how well a driver can manage their tires. Let's see what's happening on the timing column on the left-hand side here. So I think the number of laps are self-explanatory. You obviously see everyone's race position. So right now you know what the M's and H mean, right? It's the medium and hard tires. So obviously the leader's the driver in front, and you see all these plus decimal points, right? It means the driver in second position is only 0.7 seconds away. So Verstappen is 0.7 seconds behind, and Antonelli is 1.9 seconds behind the leader. All right, and Piastri is 3.4 seconds behind the leader. This purple clock here means Verstappen currently has the fastest time. And the fastest time also kind of matters at the end of the race. Whoever has the fastest time gains an extra point. Yay, extra point. But the rule is you also have to place in the top 10 to get that point. That could be a little confusing for beginners, and that doesn't even matter. The purple clock just means they've got the fastest lap currently. All right, so next. All right, and look at that. DRS is now enabled. What does that mean? All right, give me a sec. You see? So this is an F1 car, right? This is the rear wing flap. And in most of the race, it's closed so that it can make corners quicker. But there's a little electronic flap that allows you to lift it up, and it allows more air to go through it quicker, and that results in more speed. So in each circuit, there are usually 2 or 3 DRS zones, right? And each DRS zone happens on a long straight. But the rule is, you're not allowed to just, turn it on and off whenever you want. You can only do it when you got DRS. Along each track, there are DRS detection points. To gain DRS, you must be within a second of the person in front of you before you hit the DRS detection point. Oh my god, that's so confusing.
We'll put Piastri back within the DRS range.
You can find how far the cars are from each other by checking out the intervals between each car. Sometimes the right-hand side of this column will change, and right now, they're showing us the tire age. Alright, so how many laps they've done on this tire, so that you can monitor kind of like when they have to pit. And now it's telling you how many times each driver has pitted. So these people have pitted, right? But these 2 drivers haven't pitted. 0. Norris is in first place right now. But by the time he pits, he's probably gonna fall, 20-ish seconds down around here. So I think that's just enough information to get you started. I'm not going to bore you with what purple sectors mean, not going to bore you with what a racing line is, or what apexing a corner means. I think that's enough to just get you to start watching F1. But if you think I should make another video explaining what all that means, what racecraft is, with some sim racing examples, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll make that video for you guys. And now, it's time to choose who you're going to root for. You could either pick a team or your favorite driver. So let's quickly go through the 10 teams and 20 drivers on the grid currently. The first one we got. Everybody knows Lewis Hamilton, 7 times world champion. Charles Leclerc. He's from Monaco. You may have heard of him, Max Verstappen, alright? Full-time sim racer, part-time F1 driver with 4 world championships. Whoa. You got Yuki Tsunoda, Short King Energy. Next up, we got the McLaren boys. Lando Norris, the CEO of near misses. I did just want to show you guys that I am a Lando Norris fan. You got Oscar Piastri, Oscar Pastry, young Aussie kid. It's his 3rd season. You got Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso, 43 and still cooking. Unbothered, moisturized. You got Lance Stroll, Nepo baby with dad owns the team. Yeah, dad really bought Aston Martin so that his son could sit in it. Alright, Mercedes, George Russell. Claims to have the best hair on the grid. You got Kimi Antonelli, the Italian teen protege, barely out of high school, already driving like he's been here for 10 years. B-Carb, Visa, Cash App, RB. Alright, Liam Lawson. He got RedBulled out of his Red Bull seat in 2 races. So now he's in B-Carb, speed running his redemption arc. Isaac Hadjar, French, fast, Gen Z's new F1 crush. Funny guy. Alright, we got William, Alex Albon. We got TikTok hair and golden retriever vibes. We got Carlos Sainz, the smooth operator.
Smooth operator. Smooth operator.
Steak Sauber F1 team. Next year, they're rebranding as Audi. Nico Hulkenberg, and his hair is always spiky. Gabriel Bortoleto, Rookie Brazilian. Haas, the American team. Oliver Behrman, teenage Brit with Ferrari DNA. Esteban Ocon, still beefing with half the grid. Alpine, the French team. We like their pink cars. We got Pierre Gasly, Mr. Good-Looking, Monza winning. And we got Franco Colapinto, young Argentinian that we're all excited for. You've heard of car manufacturers like Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston Martin, and McLaren. But Red Bull? Red Bull is an energy drink. What are they doing in Formula One? What is a Red Bull car? What's a Red Bull engine? And what's a Haas? Well, surprisingly, there are only 4 engine manufacturers. And those are Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull Powertrains, which is kind of Honda. And lastly, you got Renault, which is a French car brand. Because it's so expensive to make these F1 engines, the other teams just buy their engines from those teams. It's weird, but that's how it works. So let's start with Ferrari. Obviously, Ferrari has a Ferrari engine, and the Steak-Sauber and Haas's also carry the Ferrari engine. But next year, Kick-Sauber is going to be Audi, and Audi is going to be a brand new engine manufacturer. Not to mention, Cadillac is also joining the grid. Mercedes has the most engines on the grid. So the Mercedes has the Mercedes, McLaren, Aston Martin, and Williams. Although next year, Aston Martin has a contract with Honda, so they're going to be using Honda engines. You'd think these luxury car brands with the fastest cars, make their own engines, but they don't. Right now, the Red Bulls are on Honda Red Bull powertrains because Honda and Red Bull had kind of a partnership. But next year, Honda is not working with Red Bull, and then Ford is going to work with Red Bull next year. It's a funny sport. And last, but definitely also least, I guess, you got Renault, which only the Alpine is running right now. But even next year, they're not going to be using their own engines that they make. They're just scrapping the program, and they're knocking on Mercedes' door for an engine. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. You made it to the end. I shoot and edit these videos by myself, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit the notification bell. It's free for you guys. It really helps me. It means a lot to me. I take a lot of time making these videos. My name is Frog, and I'll catch you in the next video.